trauma-informed hiring practices and how we get, as employers and as leaders and as human beings, to empower change. So hiring justice-impacted individuals, that's going to benefit businesses. It's also going to benefit society by being able to foster diverse perspectives. It's going to enhance innovation, some thinking outside the box, and it's going to provide access to untapped talent. These employees, they're often highly motivated and they're extremely loyal. I know when I was incarcerated, I made 45 cents an hour and I worked my butt off. Now that I work for a company where I make a livable wage, I work twice as hard for that, and I'm twice as loyal as the average person. There's that loyalty. There's financial incentives that drive it. There tax credits that go to the businesses. All this stuff further benefits companies. And additionally, hiring justice-impacted individuals, that strengthens corporate social responsibility. You might hear the term used as CSR. It improves brand reputation, and it attracts socially conscious consumers. This practice contributes to reducing recidivism. Who in here doesn't know what recidivism means? Can I maybe a show of hands? Or okay, seems like everybody knows what recidivism means. Returning back to criminal behavior, heading back to prison for those of us that don't know. It also promotes economic equality and equity across the board. In turn, that's going to create safer communities. Overall, it's a strategic and ethical choice that's going to positively impact the businesses and the world as a whole. So as we move on, before we get too far into things, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is George Nolan. I work for a company called New Freedom. And what we do at New Freedom is we're a 90-day IOP. We mentor people, men and women, while they're incarcerated. We welcome them home. We pick them up from the gate. They come to our facility. They stay with us for about 90 days where they work on behavioral health, mental health, and additional traits. By the time they leave, they're able to have a place to live and a place to go to work at if that's what they're looking for. In addition to that, I'm the chief disruptor at Refine to Inspire. And what Refine to Inspire is a business that teaches soft skills. And we work with people that are justice impacted. We teach them things like teamwork, time management, networking, cultural competency, how to present, public speaking, conflict resolution. That's a big one. That's one of the number one desired skills in leaders, is being able to move in a healthy way through different conflicts, because at some point in time, there's going to be a disagreement. One of the areas that I'm particularly passionate about is trauma-informed hiring practices. As someone with lived experience, I truly understand how deeply trauma can affect someone's life and their ability to succeed. Now, trauma-informed hiring, it's essential. It allows us to look beyond a person's past and see their potential. It creates a space where individuals feel valued, supported, respected, and it fosters environments where they can not just grow, but actually thrive. This is extremely important. Just before this meeting, I spent the last 4 hours on a prison yard out here in Tucson with men who are inside that prison in a 9-month program working on themselves to better their lives. And the common question that I kept hearing all day, how hard is it going to be for me to get employed? How hard is it going to be for me to find work? What does that look like? And I'm able to comfortably say there's been vast improvements in that. And hopefully today, with this knowledge and this little kind of 30,000 foot view of what this practice looks like, hopefully we can bring more people on board as we learn not only the value that justice impacted people bring to the table, but how to interact with them appropriately and safely, and the tangible benefits that will overall affect your business in a positive way that Jennifer is going to explain for us a little bit later. Jennifer, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, George. My name is Jennifer Fixman, and I'm the Reentry Employer Outreach Coordinator for the Department of Economic Security. I'm based out of Phoenix. I also have a counterpart in Tucson, and we cover the whole state. What I do is I go out and I work with businesses who are background friendly, or even if they say they're case by case, and educating employers what it means to be background friendly and help them get off that fence and understand the benefits both to their business as well as to the community and the job seekers for considering reentry and second chance job seekers.
Awesome.
My name is Kevin Copeland. I'm a vocational supervisor at New Freedom, and what we do is we teach our members that come in off of prison yards trade skills. Right now, we currently offer 7 classes from framing, painting, electrical, CDL, peer support, culinary, GED, basically everything that you're going to need to find employment. We work with local companies that are willing to hire our people at a livable wage. We typically want them to start at somewhere $17, $18 an hour entry level with opportunities for advancement. And that's really, we only have 90 days to do that. So we cram a lot in there. And we've had really great results that I'm sure we'll speak about later.
Awesome. Good job, guys. Callie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. I'm just here behind the scenes hoping to, help these guys and get their information out there because they're amazing. But my name is Callie Unruh. I'm program manager in Arizona with Persevere, and would love to talk with some of you more about our program if you don't know us. But we are all about the fair chance hiring and excited to partner with these guys to promote fair chance hiring all across Arizona and the country.
That's so awesome. Thank you, Callie. I seen Elisa jumped in too. How you doing, Elisa? Another.
Hello. Good afternoon. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell everybody what you do.
Of course I can, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself. But I am Elisa Smith. I am the technology employment specialist here in Arizona. I also teach career readiness on Tuesdays and Thursdays inside of one of our prisons here in Tucson. Specifically, I teach on the Whetstone Yard. So I help individuals try to connect with employment in the tech industry. I also wear the hat of a case manager. So I also try to help individuals connect with some community resources as it comes up. And so I'm super excited to meet all of you as well. I work along the side of Callie, and so we're super excited to be here and excited about this webinar. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for having us.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank all you guys. Like, you feel that energy. And I think I'm a transparency person. I believe in huge amounts of transparency, putting stuff on the table and kind of talking about it. And the cool thing is about the people that just introduced themselves, I met every single one of these people as a result of being in prison. I met Jennifer because she would come into the prisons. I did 17 years incarcerated. I probably didn't tell you that. Well, it's out there now. I met Jennifer when she would come in for the Second Chance Center, and she would bring employers in there, and they'd do the interviews, and they would talk to the guys. Obviously, she does it at the men's and the women's facility, but my experience was at the men's. So that's how I got to meet Jennifer. Kevin and New Freedom, they do virtuals in there once a week or so, kind of Q&As, and they talk to the guys about what the experience and what to expect at New Freedom, even about the rules and regulations, what the cans and can'ts, and the choices we're going to make when we get there. And then as I entered back into the community, Jennifer said, "Hey, I know this lady named Callie at Persevere, and she's awesome," and gave me all this cool stuff. And through that connection, I was able to build kind of a side business, and also through that business, pour into the community and help people get on their feet. We're literally already seeing the benefits of when partnerships come together, when people come together. All of this started while I was wearing orange, while I was called an inmate, while I was recognized inside the prisons as someone with gang involvement, and all those labels and monikers that come with it. But anybody's capable of change. And when you have people like this in your life, when you have people who are supportive, who can point you in the right direction, who don't necessarily have any kind of an agenda, it is it is much, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's much easier to get onto a path of success, whatever that looks like for you. And I just wanted to point out, like, the people in this room, including myself, that introduced themselves. We all came together as a direct result of someone who was incarcerated, and the relationships that were there. So in-reach, super important, outreach, and then the coming together and the second chance, fair chance hiring. That there are so many benefits to it. It's awesome. So as we move on into Linda, do you have a question?
I do.
Awesome.
Is this only focused on our reentry 3 units, or are we getting this information out to the case managers that they're able to share it with their caseload?
When you talk about case managers, in what aspect are you talking about?
CO3s, CO4s.
Yes, I do. I literally just spent 4 hours on Manzanita this morning. I'm in the prisons weekly. I met with the 2 assistant directors last night. We put this information, this context, this message out to as many people as possible and as often as possible. Sometimes they want to hear it, sometimes they don't, but the information's there, and we are actively. Jennifer's in the prisons, bringing the job fairs in there. I might have more friends that work in the Department of Corrections than I do other friends at this point in my life. So the information, it's definitely out there. It's definitely getting pushed. We're definitely educating as often as we can. And Linda, I'll be honest with you, if you would like to reach out to me outside of here and set something up it sounds like you work for the ADCR.
In 2019, I retired as a 4 after 29 years.
Oh, good job.
And so I still am being contacted for guidance. And now that I am promoted into the workforce supervisor position out of Flagstaff, I still have those connections on the inside, and it always it makes my heart happy when we're able to supply information and resources for the people who want to receive it.
Absolutely. And like I said, feel free to reach out to me, call me, email me, text me, any way you want to, and I would be happy to speak personally to anybody that you feel this message is important to, because the residual effects, the benefits, right? We could talk about money and the business stuff. That's awesome. But the safer communities, the children that now have dads, the children that now have moms, like those kind of, I don't even want to say intangible because they're so important, but the ripple effect that comes from that. You know, my grandkids now have a grandfather in their life. Well, they call me Push Pop, but I'm in their life as a result of this kind of work and the sharing of this kind of information. And it's even in an apartment, obviously, as you know, it's compartmentalized. One yard doesn't know what the other one's doing. That's kind of by design with security, but it also it affects this kind of information flow. So not to beat a dead horse, but I would be more than happy to talk to anybody you would like, provide this information and do this. I do it every day if I can.
And fun plug real quick. We also have some brand new resources that we're launching today with this webinar that George helped us create. One being the inclusive hiring guide workbook that has checklists for employers. If you look at the comments, there's a link to grab that. But also we are launching that has not, I guess, officially come out. I can put that in the comments too. That a high performance guide to re-entry that really helps those who are inside as they're coming out. To really set goals and tackle some of those issues and barriers, along with a huge list of resources that George helped us put together for places and people they can reach out to. So I'll get that one in the comments too.
Absolutely, that's awesome. So as we move on here to the next slide, the power of second chances. All right, we're talking about trauma-informed hiring. It's a compassionate approach. It recognizes the impact of past trauma on individuals, and it creates a supportive and understanding work environment. And that's for everyone, right? Everyone benefits from that. So by acknowledging these experiences, businesses, they're able to unlock the full potential of justice-impacted individuals. And it fosters a workforce that's resilient, because if you talk about the 8 billion people on this planet, the people with substance use and justice impacted backgrounds, I can confidently say we're in the top 5% of the 8 billion people on this planet when it comes to resilience. When we bounce back, we figure it out, we keep moving forward, sometimes in a good way, sometimes in other ways, but that resilience is there. We're motivated, highly motivated, and as I said before, we're deeply loyal. This approach, it's not only going to just transform lives by providing second chances and fair chances, but it also promotes healing. It enhances business success by cultivating a diverse workforce and a pretty innovative team. We figure out a way to get things done. So being able to kind of embrace trauma-informed hiring, it's a powerful way to drive positive change, create thriving communities, and we're also going to build stronger and more resilient organizations as a direct result of that. Well, as we move on to the Second Chance Business Coalition, I don't know if anybody's heard of this, but it's really forward thinking. And the quote that I have there on the screen, at JP Morgan Chase last year, we hired 2,100 people with criminal backgrounds. Providing a second chance will give people dignity and allow them to provide for their families. It helps companies like ours expand the number of people we hire to ensure we get the best talent. A popular myth, something that's said often, and even a practice, because it's there for a reason, is trying to get into financial work after being justice impacted can be a little bit more of a difficult path, or a lot more, depending on what your perspective looks like. But here we have JP Morgan Chase leading the charge. They've seen the benefit in this. So back in April of 2021, a group of major employers and national organizations, they launched a Second Chance Business Coalition, SCBC. This was designed to expand hiring and advancement practices for people who do have criminal records within, their own specific companies. Fun fact, here's a number. 1 in 3 Americans has an arrest or a conviction record that can significantly impact their ability to get a job. This SCBC, this is co-chaired actually by JP Morgan Chase and Company Chairman and CEO Jamie Dimon and Chairman and CEO of Eaton, Craig Arnold. So the SCBC promotes the benefits of second chance employment. It provides major employers with a set of tools, also relationships and expertise to allow them to successfully hire and provide career advancement and greater economic opportunities to people with criminal records. Companies that have already joined that SCBC, it's not just JP Morgan and Chase. You have Accenture, AT&T, Bank of America, Best Buy, Cisco, CVS Health, Dick's Sporting Goods, Eaton Gap, General Motors, the Home Depot. All these huge, obviously very successful companies, they're seeing the value here. They're leaning into the value here. And when we talk about, I want to touch on something real quick, second chance and fair chance hiring. I'm going to give you guys an example that was literally happened to me just a few weeks ago. Somebody had offered me a job outside of the company that I'm with. And the number that they gave me to, the salary, obviously we talked about the financials. They said $48,000. And I was like, okay, I appreciate it. It's cool. I was like, but I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to be able to accept that. I'm doing better where I am. 2 days later, they called me back and offered me $70,000. Their first inclination was to give me $22,000 less than they were able to afford. And I'm assuming that's because I'm justice impacted. I'm assuming that's because they think I'm just going to be grateful to have the job. So we can look at that, time to the second chance hiring and opportunities. But as soon as they saw that I knew my worth, they offered to pay me my worth. And to me at that moment, I don't want to have anything to do with that. Because if they're not willing to be upfront with me, what does that look like a year down the road? What does that look like 3 years down the road? I'm not going to feel safe with a company like that. So that between second chance and fair chance hiring, there can be a pretty significant gap. So I just wanted to touch on the SCBC so you guys saw what that looked like and that there's big companies involved there. When we talk about trauma-informed hiring, trauma informed, that's not just a hiring practice. It's not just a mental health approach. It's not just for substance use. Trauma informed language is a safe, inclusive language that we can use and a practice that we can learn and we can instill. So the slide that I put up here is from SAMHSA. And they do all the mental health, all the substance use for the entire country. They're the experts. And this is what they call the trauma-informed approach. And you can see there's six different techniques that get used here. So for hiring purposes, which is what we're talking about today from a trauma-informed approach, we're going to go through them a little bit more in depth. I'm just going to touch on them here briefly. But we're going to talk about safety. For example, having a confidential interview in a comfortable environment where you can have an actual conversation without having to expose everything to everyone. Trustworthiness and transparency. We're going to provide clear and honest job descriptions. This way, everybody knows what's expected, what the metrics they'll be judged on. It's all laid out there on the table for them. Peer support, which is huge, whether it's mental health, whether it's on a football team, whether it's in the workplace. We can establish mentorship style opportunities inside the workplace with maybe the more experienced employees helping and kind of mentoring the new employees that are coming on the team. Collaboration and mutuality. We want buy-in from our employees, right? We want our employees to be part of the team. We want everyone to feel heard. That's important. When people don't feel heard, that can affect them. It can affect their mental health. It can affect definitely their buy-in to whatever the organizational mission is. So we want to involve multiple team members also in the interview process to ensure diverse perspectives. We want to be able to empower our employees. We want to give them voice and choice. We're going to encourage candidates to express their career goals during the interviews. The last company I worked for, the Arizona Pure and Family Career Academy, they asked me questions like that in the interview. Then they had me, as one of my work assignments, deliver a 1, 3, and 5 year plan so they could see how they could support what direction I was heading in. There's also cultural, historic, and gender issues, right? Those are tough conversations today. There's for multiple reasons. Doesn't mean they don't exist. Doesn't mean they don't have to be talked about. Doesn't mean we don't have to find a healthy way to address them and make everyone feel included. So we have to recognize and we have to respect the cultural differences in communications and also in their work styles. So the first one we talked about was safety. As we apply safety to the workplace, we're going to conduct, like I said before, the confidential interviews in a comfortable environment, somewhere private. We will always want to ensure the clear communication of job expectations and the processes, and we want to offer flexible work arrangements to accommodate personal needs. Here's why I say this. If I don't go meet my parole officer or my probation officer, I return to custody. I don't just need a Tuesday morning off at 10 o'clock because I want to go have a picnic. This might be when I have to go meet my PO. Along with that, there comes things like UA testing, where we have to go do urinalysis to ensure our drug screenings. Those little situations, they're going to arise. They're a part of this. Is it the most convenient thing in the world? It's not. But with any employee, things arise, whether it's a doctor's appointment, a child sick, family emergencies, any of that stuff's going to come up anyway. We have to keep a flexible schedule, allow people to not come and go as they please, but know that they're going to be supported as they navigate the system. When we talk about the next topic, which is trustworthiness and transparency, this is extremely important, especially with someone who's been through trauma, maybe someone who may or may not have some trust issues. It's just figuring things out. It's just moving forward. Being, again, having clear and honest job descriptions is extremely important. We want to be able to communicate openly about the hiring timeline and the decision making. That is a great technique. I know there's been jobs I've taken. Oh, we'll call you in a week, and you kind of sit around. You don't get a phone call, or yeah, we're going to hire you. They know about my background, and then the background comes back, and now they can't hire me. Somewhere they change their minds. If it's not something you can do, just express that. If it's something you plan on doing, express that as well. But set those timelines, keep that consistency overall. Always share the company policies and the benefits transparently during onboarding. Something I see working in this space a lot is professionalism. Sometimes we don't know how to dress, not because we don't want to dress appropriately for the office or for the environment. We just don't know that we're not dressing accordingly. You know, for ladies, it can look one way. For guys, it can look another. So talking about company policies, talking about, business casual and what that actually is. Hey, pants and shoes and, collared shirt, explaining those things, taking the time and acknowledging the past history, where the gaps might be. You can be able to see it. You kind of learn it the more you get into it. But even having maybe an orientation where you talk about professionalism and bringing that in and what lines up with the company policies. This way, everyone's on the same page and has that understanding. Peer support, like I talked about before, it is so important. Peer support works everywhere. Having people in your life who can guide you through a process, whether it's buying a car, whether it's how to find a job, working on a resume, how to complete a job, establishing a mentorship program inside of your organization with the more experienced employees. It gives them a chance to pour into the newer employees, and it gives the newer employees a chance to hear live information. Hey, this is what the job is. This is what it looks like for me. And the employee can then take that from whatever they're learning in a mentorship program and apply it to their day-to-day. It also builds, my favorite word in the world, connection and teamwork and camaraderie between the employees, because now they're not sitting in two different cubicles doing their own thing. They're interacting, they're talking. There's some buy-in from the mentor who's trying to show somebody how to raise their skill level at whatever task or job that they have that day. And then a lot of the employees are going to want to be able to perform the way that mentor is. That's why they're listening to them in the first place. So facilitating peer-to-peer networking groups within the organization, introducing people they have that day. You can encourage team building activities that foster connection. I tell you right now, I work in an organization with about, 220 employees, and I'm being a little bit sarcastic here, but about 219 of them are justice impacted. It's probably closer to about 200, and the place flourishes. I do tours in there all the time. I bring people in, I show them what we do there. And literally the first thing I hear from everyone is, man, I can't believe the energy in here. I can feel it. I can't believe the energy. I brought a lady, and this is a true story, with a PhD in from GCU, and we took a tour. By the time that tour was over, she handed me a resume in the parking lot. I have nothing to do with HR or hiring. I seen her the other day. She's now an employee where I work at because she feels the energy. And that energy, it's built through peer support. It's built through connection. Just putting this presentation together today. Kevin works in a different department. I said, hey, I got to do this presentation. Can you show me how to do it? Can you work with me on it? And Kevin and I were able to put this whole thing together. Jennifer was able to lean into it. And this is what we were able to come up with. I've been to organizations where nobody's going to help you. I've been to organizations where you're on your own. That's not a healthy environment, not just for justice impacted, but just for human beings in general, right? So peer support, finding ways to implement it and use it in the workforce, in your organization, extremely important. The other thing that happens at this organization, I saw it at Peer and Family. I even see it at DES. I don't know if it's an organizational wide thing, but the team that I've worked with at Arizona at Work, I have absolutely seen the collaboration, and I've seen the mutuality, and I've seen how it benefits people. Because when you work together, when you value someone's opinion, when you ask for help, when you get that sense of being heard, it's a pretty good feeling that comes with being able to involve multiple team members, right, in the interview process, like we talked about. Promoting shared decision. Promoting shared decision making in project assignments and different role development. That's awesome, because now you're not just doing what somebody told you. You're completing a project that you have some fingerprints on. Right? You've touched that project. You've had some say so. Let's get it as good as